Welcome back to another video here on the second channel. Today we do something that I think I may have done once or twice in the past, but it doesn't come around very often. I am issuing a redstone challenge to all of you watching the video and to the broader redstone community. I believe there is a contraption that could be made that would be extremely wonderful for XP farms that work through the trick with the furnace. Now, this was added to the game in the 1.13 update, and I think I looked at the history of videos going out on my channel. It was around 11 months that I first started scratching my head on this idea right here, and then it kind of just got forgotten about, and so I had the idea that I could pass this on to the community because I don't think I'm ever going to be able to solve this. But anyway, here's the deal. With a setup like this, what we can do is have... that was supposed to say the name of the item in there. For some reason it forgot it. It forgets it if it's not a proper command. Well, I just learned something. Yeah, an item like cactus from a cactus farm could continuously be sent across this bit, and our fuel source could be continuously sent through the back here. Now, this is going to feed all the furnaces that you see with the fuel that they need and the items they need to smelt. And the idea here is to create an XP farm where these furnaces will be locked up and ready for the player to come along and use, take out the items and then press a button. Now, you may have seen something similar to this on Hermitcraft. I set up a shop where you could go in and the furnaces would have one item in, but that was using a trick where I gave it the right amount of items so it would fill up the container down below. So I'd give it 5 stacks and one item, and when it was done smelting you would see an off furnace like this. Now, what I want to do with this contraption is automate that process so that I don't have to go in and clear out all the items in the hopper down below and reset the contraption. I believe this can be done automatically, and the challenge is to make it a 2 wide like this. I don't think there's any more compact you could do than 2 wide. Possibly we could end up with a 3 wide contraption, and if we just fly back here, there are other ways of laying out a 2 wide as well. Sometimes you can alternate like this. Just in case you need to swap the redstone around behind it so it doesn't collide with the next thing along. So let's just kind of recap what the idea here is. You could set up your cactus farm, your fuel farm, have them continuously pump in everything that you need. And when I say fuel, I'm talking about bamboo. We can harvest that automatically, and yeah, that's like a fuel source right there. So that means we can continuously have XP being stored, and the bigger you build an array, the more XP that you have available to you, the player. So imagine building like an array that was, I don't know, 20 modules, 40 modules, however many you want. That's stored XP that you can just walk up to and take. So this could be a very powerful contraption, I believe. So over here was my attempt at trying to wire this up, and I've sort of color-coded things here because I figured out a few circuits that would be useful. And so I'm going to walk you through what I've done so far and where I think it's going to get difficult to do. So this is our 2 wide section that we'd like to be tileable, and we've got color-coded stuff over here. So let's start off with the green block. Now, the green block has a repeater pointing into it because a signal will come from behind when all the other redstone has figured out that this needs to be locked. It locks the hopper there. It means that the items will get smelted and built up in the furnace above, and also this lamp will turn on to tell you, the player, that it's ready for use. So if we go read the sign, it says locks hopper when certain amount of items have been smelted. Now, there is a button in front of it that you can press, and that is the button to reset the contraption. So there is yellow wall here. You can see it'd be easy to send a signal back to this block, and then the rest of the redstone can do what it needs to do. So the yellow one receives button input from player when contraption needs resetting. Now, the next circuit will be the light blue one. Creates a pulse for each item smelted and dispose of it. The disposes bit is kind of important because what we don't want is these items getting smelted, backing up and filling up droppers and whatnot. We want it to automatically be gotten rid of. So we detect the item coming through the hopper, and it creates a pulse to then activate the dropper and shoot the item out, onto the ground or probably into lava, something like that, so it gets destroyed. You can also see that this then extends to a purple circuit, and this is where the majority of what needs to be done, if we can use the rest of this, of course, needs to happen. So let's go and read what the purple one is over here. Possible counting system. Now, this is really quite open-ended because we need to count every single item that comes through here. Luckily, we get a pulse from this comparator, so that's good, but then we need this contraption to count and send that signal over to the green block to lock the contraption and be able to be reset by the yellow signal coming in on this side, our yellow wall signal. And then it needs to be able to fit in a 2 wide space and be tileable. And there's also a few other issues as well. Let's say we're moving items from one dropper to the one on the other side. When it resets, it's got to move all the items back. And how does that happen with new items coming through? Because I'm going to guess when we reset this, it's going to start smelting straight away. So there are a few questions like that to be asked of whatever circuit goes here. But it's also got to be tileable, right? So if I come over here and just place the imaginary next one, then the redstone links up and that doesn't work. So I was goofing around with Mumbo over this idea one time and we were trying out lots of different things. I can't actually remember what this is right here, but this was some sort of other circuit we figured might be of use. So that is the main challenge right there. Something that counts all the items coming in, can be reset and interact with the rest of this redstone, and then we would have this 2 wide contraption. Now if we can keep the blueprint relatively small and the whole thing kind of simple, it would be such an excellent farm or contraption to have in your base. You know, just imagine you've set up a cactus farm and a bamboo farm, you never have to maintain them or do anything, and then once you built this, you've literally just got a wall of XP. You walk up to it, take the item out of the furnace, press the button, move on to the next one. And that reminds me of one last note, which is we need to think about how many items this can account for. The more the better, but if there's some sort of compromise, I think it's a good idea that this thing should be able to reach a certain amount of levels that is useful. Now, based on how much durability a diamond sword would have, which is around 1,500, I think it's pretty reasonable to do what I did before, which was, I think, a third of that. So items like armor would all basically get instantly repaired from 1 furnace use, but something like a sword would take 3 or a pick would take 3. And the reason that I bring that up is just because we're dealing with a large number of items to count, or the counting method might have some sort of number limit to it. So that's another factor to keep in mind. There's always compromises to make with these contraptions. And so if you do come up with anything, first of all, I have the plot world server, play.xisumatwo.com. If you want to build it on there and tell me where to go, you can get at me by Twitter, or on Twitter you can just send me screenshots. Now, don't be emailing me world saves. I don't download and open files like that. Best way to get at me is on Twitter. You could alternatively write me an email and include some images if you don't use Twitter. But yeah, best thing to do is send me images or go and build it on our plot world, play.xisumatwo.com. And, you know, hopefully we'll come up with something that we can work with and then have an amazing contraption right here. Anyway, it's taken me 11 months to make this video. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye bye.